Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fat Loss Basics. Thanks so much for joining today. What a weekend. What a weekend. I did not go to the gym at all over the weekend, which is really weird and rare for me. I just was not feeling it. I was tired. I started my cycle on Friday. I was like, nope, naps it is. So that's what I did. And this week has been a whirlwind so far. We have had a death in the family. And so now we have to add a funeral into the mix in the middle of the week. And so it's just kind of super fun sometimes to, when I say like shit never stops, or if you wait till, the stars align, you're never going to do anything because it's the truth. Like imagine I'll just wait till this is over, till this is done. It just keeps coming. And even this is Monday, I'm recording this, but like even yesterday I'm going, oh, cool. My daughter's like, wakes up with a sore throat. Not great. At some point during family dinner, she goes, I think I need to take my temperature. I think I'm running a fever. I'm like, fuck, definitely running a fever. So again, now I have a sick kid home who has a big meet this weekend, who can't go to practice. It's just, plus a funeral now. It's just let the hits keep coming. And it's, it can be really kind of hard and it can be frustrating at times. So I just want to let you know, if you ever feel like, wow, there's another thing, or here's another thing, or all the things, it can suck. And it kind of feels like, oh my God, like, how come I can't just catch a break? Or how come I can't just figure this out? Or how come this is so difficult? And this is why. Life doesn't ever stop. Life doesn't ever end. And it's always going to toss some shit at your face. And it's like, here, good luck. And that was something that we had check-ins this last week. And something that came through on there was, I typically share all these things that I'm going through and how I'm navigating them with my group coaching program. And that's because they need to know, like, this is not abnormal for life to just keep lifing. And somebody was like, thank you so much for sharing. Like, I don't want to do it for sympathy. I do it to show them, and even this morning I got to go in there in the group coaching group, the community chat, and go, yep. And the hits just keep on coming. And now I have a sick kid home. Here we are. It sucks. But this is the life. It's like, and I can either continue to make choices that don't align because life is hard, or I can just fucking buck it up and do the best that I can in the moment that I got, right? That's the reality of it. So, however, today has nothing to do about that. A lot of what I'm seeing again coming through right now is menopause, perimenopause, menopause. And I want to have a small conversation about this today, right? Because this is now the new villain. It's the ruiner of everything. It's the reason you cannot lose the weight and keep it off. And it's honestly the thing where it's like, I've tried everything and nothing works. I must be in menopause. It must be perimenopause. And I'm going to be super honest. Like, I'm kind of over it. And it's not because menopause isn't real. And it's not because it doesn't change things in our life. And it's not because it doesn't come with its own new set of rules, if you will, and challenges that you have to experience. But it's because we keep doing this thing over and over. We keep trying to find a new enemy to point blame, a new thing to demonize that really is not the problem. And it's all like things that naturally occur within our body. And yet we're not pointing the finger at the habits and our patterns and what we're choosing to do or not do, right? So, we went through the insulin craze where insulin is making you fat. And oh my God, when I eat carbs, my insulin raises. Yeah, duh, that's its fucking job. I think a lot of this is not being educated and understanding what is going on. So yeah, just cut your carbs and fix your insulin, like so that your insulin never raises, which it's supposed to, right? Then was cortisol. Cortisol is making you fat. You're too stressed. You got to lower your cortisol. You got to do specific workouts, all this shit. And now it's menopause. Menopause is keeping you fat and your hormones are broken and you are broken and you need special protocols and special supplements and all this shit. And I'm calling it out, right? I'm calling bullshit, not on the fact that I think menopause has real physiological transitions and challenges that come with it. It does. It absolutely does. It changes things. We're going to talk about that, but not the narrative that menopause is the reason you can't lose weight, that your body's broken, that you need some special something, some magic pill, some cream and program or whatever that is going to fix it. This is not the case. And let's talk about the pattern of what we're doing in the health and wellness space, right? Because again, this is not the first time we've had some natural occurrence in our body be demonized. Again, insulin. Let's start with insulin. Everybody was like, oh my God, insulin, I'm insulin resistant. I'm insulin resistant. I'm insulin resistant. My body can't handle carbs. I'm insulin resistant. And every single thing that you ate, including fruit, was going to spike your insulin and make you fucking fat, right? You went keto, God forbid you eat the fruit because there's sugar in fruit and sugar's bad and all these. We have bad carbs, good carbs, goals on Friday's podcast. And you might lose weight at some point when you do these special protocols, but not because you fixed your insulin. It's because you went into a calorie deficit. Okay. The unfortunate part is that most people cannot sustain the protocol in which they choose because it's extreme, because that's what we're told we have to do. Oh, to fix your insulin, you need to fast. To fix your insulin, you need to do this. To fix your insulin, you need to do these things. Okay. And so then you put the weight back on. Had the same issue with cortisol, right? You're too stressed. Your cortisol's too high. It's why you can't lose weight. So you have to lower your cortisol and you have to relax a little bit. You chill. You did these yoga things and you tried to meditate, right? And maybe you took some special whatever and maybe it made you feel better. Maybe it didn't, depends on kind of who you are and how it worked. But your weight didn't change because cortisol wasn't the fucking problem. Cortisol doesn't make you not lose fat. There's other things that can happen with cortisol that doesn't make you lose fat. But that's the other thing. Same thing with insulin. Cortisol is supposed to rise. If you don't have cortisol, you don't fucking wake up in the morning. Hello? Hi. Cortisol is what makes you go, time to get up. Ding dong. The sun is shining now. It's time to rise. And that's why a lot of people that work on a night shift actually really struggle with weight loss because honestly, their circadian rhythm is all jacked up because your cortisol and your insulin run on these opposite fun little patterns. And if those patterns are not correct or they're disrupted or we're not doing things to support those patterns or we're demonizing these things that are supposed to happen in our body, boom, now we have a problem. And then of course we have menopause. Now, here we are, right? Your hormones are dropping, your metabolism is slowing, you're gaining all this belly fat overnight. And then now you're buying all these supplements and you're doing these protocols. You got menopause specific workouts, bullshit. You're following menopause specific diet programs. It's all bullshit, right? So what we have to understand is menopause isn't the villain. Okay. And if we don't understand what menopause is, I just want to be really short and sweet here. It's a natural phase of life, kind of like seasons. And we're trying to prevent this season from happening in our life. It's like trying to prevent winter from coming. Winter's fucking coming. We might not like it. It might be uncomfortable. It might, piss us off on some days, and it might be really inconvenient, but it's fucking coming. We're ready for it because we have to be, right? And it's where your ovaries stop producing estrogen and progesterone. So it's going to come with natural symptoms. Okay. This is what is the problem is that people are like, oh, I'm getting hot flashes. Oh, I can't sleep. I'm night sweats, everything, sweating in my whole bed. And I wake up and I have to shower and I can't sleep a whole night. And I'm gaining all this belly fat and all this stuff. Right. But understanding that this is a natural process of our body. It's not a fucking disease. This is not a chronic illness. This is a process that cannot just be fixed or thrown shit at it and then it just goes away. This is literally a transition of our life, okay? And it's not the reason that you can't lose weight. Yes, your hormones are definitely changing. Yes, your body composition might shift a little bit because of where we store fat when we go through perimenopause and menopause, right? Yes, you might notice your sleep is disrupted. Yes, you might notice, man, my cravings are fucking wild. All these things are not abnormal. These are all normal, but you can still lose fat in perimenopause and menopause. You can still build muscle during this transition. You can still be strong and healthy and feel good in your body. You just have to do the things that are going to support the transition. I'm going to say it again. You have to do the things that are going to support the transition. And I'm going to be super honest. Most of you don't know how to do that because you can't even support your body appropriately when we're not in menopause and perimenopause. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. How did we get here? Okay. How did we get here? And I think that this is what nobody wants to say it out loud. And I just think it's kind of annoying. But I'm going to call it out because I'm no different. I am a part of the problem to myself as well. I just changed what I was doing at 32 years old. A lot of us aren't changing what we're doing until we're 40, 50, 60, some of us even in our 70s, which is fine. Okay. But the reason that menopause often feels so hard for women isn't just because of the menopause, right? It's because of the 20 and 30 years prior to the menopause transition or perimenopause transition and what they did. What did you do for the last 2 to 3 decades? Did you treat your body with respect? Did you feel it appropriately? Did you move it appropriately? Did you manage your stress? Did you drink water? Did you eat vegetables? Did you make sure you're getting in fiber and protein? Probably not. The majority of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s and even 2000s, early 2000s, did not do this shit. Why? One, weren't taught. Two, oh my God, protein's gonna kill you, fat's gonna kill you. You cannot trade hard and big and strong because you'll get bulky like man. Like that's what we grew up. That's how we know. So we didn't know any better, to be honest. Like it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility, right? So we spent most of those years chronic dieting, right? We have restricted our calories. We've been, on this diet, off that diet, on this diet. Hey, starting a diet every fucking Monday. Sound like somebody you know, right? Cut carbs, cut fat, got to do low fat, low carb, blah, 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 blah. And this is going to affect your metabolic adaptation. Now, it doesn't mean that your metabolism's like broken or slowing, because actually our metabolism slows most when we're young, not when we're old. It does most of the slowing when we're actually younger. And it really tapers off as we age, right? But our metabolism, it's not about it being broken or that the metabolism needs to be fixed, but it's just shifted. It's bouncing back and forth, trying to figure out what the fuck is she doing? Are we eating today or are we not eating today? Am I going to get food today? Am I not going to get food today? Am I going to move my body today? Am I not going to move my body today? Like what the fuck is happening, right? And now that we are entering into menopause, we're already metabolically compromised. And then we are just like, I don't know why my body isn't working. Hello? Come on, right? So, and again, going back to like doing specific training, right? We were told, hey, don't lift weights. So we did cardio, treadmill, elliptical, running, stair climbers, all these things, but never were taught properly and told how important lifting weights is, which means we never built fucking muscle. And now we're entering our 40s, 50s, and 60s completely under-muscled. We're having not enough muscle on our body, okay? And that's what we need in order to maintain a very nice, strong metabolism to get it to work for us and not against us. And it's not even that it'll work for us or against us. It's that it's either going to do some kind of, I don't know how to even word this. Like, I don't want to say it'll work optimally, but it's going to work the best that it can versus it has no idea what the fuck's happening and just trying to fucking keep up. And it's like you're taking it on a wild goose chase. Okay. Another part of this is like the under eating in protein. So, not understanding like, hey, we need probably more than 22 grams of protein a day. So we've been eating lots of salads and smoothies and quote unquote, these clean foods, but we're not getting enough protein, even if we were training in order to continue to maintain that muscle mass. Okay. So now as estrogen drops and as progesterone drops, our muscle mass drops, and we're not doing anything to maintain the muscle mass that we kind of maybe have. And now it's just going to get worse and it's going to get harder to maintain that. Okay. This one here, the binge and restrict cycle, restrict all week, binge on the weekends, and repeat. Again, this goes back to like your body not knowing what the fuck you're doing. You don't have the proper hunger cues. Your relationship with food is a fucking hot mess express. And now you're entering menopause in the same fucking patterns and habits. And you're like, I don't get it. Why is menopause so hard? Why are my cravings so bad? Well, because they were probably bad before. You just did not handle them appropriately, suppressing them, those kinds of things. Then now here we are, and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That's because we never taught ourselves, right? Or never took the time to learn, or we were just so busy doing the next best fucking thing and diet that we were just constantly looking for the quick fix. Okay. Here's another one, chronic stress and no sleep. Okay. You've been running on fumes, high stress, not enough sleep, pushing through everything. And when we talk about elevated cortisol, we're talking about chronic versus acute. Acute cortisol is like when your body cortisol rises for you to wake up. It is supposed to then go back down. But a lot of times our cortisol is rising and is staying elevated. That is when our body turns into fight or flight. And that is when we have problems with our cortisol. Problem with that is when we have chronic high cortisol, guess what it fucks up? Our insulin. Weird. Man, now all these cravings are coming and my insulin's all fucked up and all these cycles are not running appropriately. I'm not sleeping. I don't give myself adequate sleep. So now not only are the two cycles that are supposed to like kind of like help each other out while I'm sleeping are battling against each other on top of I'm fucking a zombie. Right? And you feel tired. And now menopause is only going to make you more tired because all these other symptoms are going to come along. Like, do you see the pattern here? The reason that menopause feels so damn hard isn't because of menopause, right? It's partially because you've been setting yourself up for the hardest transition of your life for the last 2 to 3 decades. And let's also not get talking about part of, I think, and I would have to do a little bit more research, okay? But I'm just going to say the fact that the majority of us that were born in the mid 70s to early 2000s, like 2005-ish, you have a bad period, you get put on birth control, right? Birth control has been a great way for people to monitor their sexual activity for having children. However, when we are doing these things, they are fucking with our body. They are fucking with the natural cycles of our body. And I'm sorry, but when you're on a hormonal birth control, you have a synthetic period. It's not even a real period. And you don't think that that's going to, at some point, some of us have been on these hormonal birth controls for 20 or 30 years. Oh, now you want to come off it now that you're going through menopause and you don't think there's going to be some fucked up shit with that? There is. Now, it doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you a bad person. But then you have to understand what you've been doing and what the hormones that you've been putting or not putting into your body appropriately are going to absolutely affect menopause and perimenopause. Okay. And then, of course, we have this whole like supplement train that comes right behind everything to sell you the solution, right? Menopause supplements, hormone balancers, metabolism boosters. It's going to fix this. It's going to speed up your metabolism. This is going to help you lose weight during menopause. No, it's not. I saw this thing even yesterday. It's like, I took this drink and it made me lose all this weight. No, you put yourself in a calorie deficit. I've been very transparent about my journey. You can go follow it. I don't want to follow your journey because you're telling women that some fucking drink made you lose all this weight. And that's not true. Can't do it. Sorry. Okay. But so it's all garbage. And I'm not saying that supplements cannot be helpful. There are a lot of women right now who are going through HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and getting on some different kind of things that are helping them through this process. So it doesn't mean that we can't be on some things that can be helpful if you have actual deficiencies. But the majority of things that are on the market are marketing to your feelings. Okay. They're marketing to the fear that you have. They're marketing to the fact that they're telling you that you're making you believe that your body is broken. They're trying to tell you that it's the enemy. Shame on menopause, right? And my product is going to fix everything. So you don't need a $60 hormone balancing supplement. You cannot balance your hormones. You cannot fix them. Okay. And you buy it. You buy it because you're desperate and you've tried everything and you're fucking over this and your symptoms are so terrible. And you want to believe that this is the solution to my problem. And that isn't. So what should we be doing? I know this is going to sound like, oh, really, Sarah? Duh. Okay. But we need to be supporting our body through menopause. Okay. And through perimenopause. Strength training should be a non-negotiable. If you're not strength training and you're in your mid 40s, you are fucking missing a boat that you cannot get back. Like, and it's not that it's quote unquote too late. It's never going to be too late. At any point in time, it's never too late. Okay. But we need to be strength training appropriately. It needs to be programmed appropriately for you. You could do as little 2 to 4 times a week. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Progressively overloading, compound movements, keep it very simple, not a toning class, not fucking Zumba, not fucking jazzercise, none of that shit is what it is, okay? That's not what we're doing. Building muscle strength training. It's going to help support your metabolism. It's going to help support bone density. It's going to help support insulin sensitivity. Everybody who's, I've been insulin resistant, then get in a fucking gym and start training. Okay. That comes from love. That comes from the love of my heart. Okay. We actually need to eat enough food. Stop fucking restricting yourself so much. I understand to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit, but how much and how long have you been trying? Are you a chronic dieter? Are you the dieter that restricts all weekend and then you fall off all weekend and you fall off every weekend, right? You need to eat enough to actually support your body to do what it is supposed to do, to fuel your workouts, to maintain muscle mass. This is not the time to be in a crazy deficit. It should be slower. It's going to be slower. It's going to be harder. It's going to be doable though. And it also will make you not feel like dog shit. Okay. Must prioritize your protein. You need more than what you think you do for most people. Also, I don't want to get to this other side of we've proteinified everything. I think that's crazy. It's just wild to me. So I typically like to tell people like, and again, we're going back to kilograms because that's really what it should be. But it's like 0.7 to 1 pound of lean body mass per kilogram. So, if you have, or even I would say just body weight or ideal body weight, depending on your height. So like, let me give you a, for instance. Okay. I'll just say take somebody that's 175 pounds. Well, actually, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take somebody that's 210 pounds because I'm going to be super honest. Most people that listen to me are looking to lose weight. So let's go for it. Okay. I'm going to divide that by 2.2. That gives me 95. Okay. So now I'm going to take 0.7 times 95. That's 66 grams of protein. That's not enough. Okay. Not enough protein. So I would do more so that ideal body weight because that's lean body mass. Hang on a second. Let's just do pounds, 0.7 times body weight. So 210 times 0.7. That's 100 and not quite 50 grams of protein. That's probably the easiest way to do it. You could also do 0.7 times your ideal. So if your ideal body weight, if you're trying first to get to maybe 180 pounds, 0.7 of that is going to be 130, right? That's a really solid number. But this whole like eating, 22 grams of protein or eating 200 grams of protein, it's wild. We don't need to be eating 200 grams of protein, most of us. Like most of us don't need to do it, okay? Especially if we are trying to support our body adequately. Woo. All right. Stop doing hours of cardio. Cardio is great for cardiovascular health. If you want to do some zone 2 running or jogging or walking or those kinds of things, we need to be moving our body every day. But we don't need to be like doing excessive cardio. Okay. So I'm talking about crazy cardio. A lot of people do enjoy it as an input. So I've had a couple of clients that like to run specifically because it gives their body input very much similarly to maybe like tapping or shaking or dancing or those kinds of things. And I think that's okay as long as it's not excessive. Again, zone 2, love it. Maybe 3 to 5 days a week doing something like that. 2 to 4 days of strength training, adding that in. And then just walking. Walking's phenomenal. Like it's super great. Okay. Sleep. You need 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep as best you can get, even, yes, with your symptoms. Yes, you might wake up, in the middle of the night. You might have your night sweats. You might have all these things, but waking and sleeping at the same time every single day is super beneficial. It's super helpful. It helps support hormones, recovery, stress management, hunger cues, all of it. Prioritize your sleep. It is a game changer. All right. Stress. You're never going to out-train, out-eat, or out-supplement a bad fucking chronic stress day. Okay. You need to address it, whether you need to get therapy, you need boundaries, you need to breathe before you eat. You need to take time for yourself. You need to do things in your life that you love and enjoy outside of just fucking work or grinding. Okay. Even if you're a mom of little, small, tiny ass children, you need to do things that you love and enjoy. Even if it's as simple as taking 30 minutes and reading a book, something along those lines. Okay. One of these here I'm going to talk about is kind of underrated. And a lot of times we're not doing this, which is listening to our body. Your body is going through a huge transition. Okay. It's going to feel different. It's going to respond differently. You need to think and pay attention about what is going on. And I'm actually talking about give yourself the same fucking kind of attention to detail that you give everything else in your life. Okay. When you notice, hey, this is not working, or this makes me feel good, or this makes me feel like shit, listen. Give yourself some positive reinforcement that you know about yourself. Okay. It's your body's trying to tell you shit. Listen to it. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is don't buy into this fucking narrative. You're not broken. Your hormones aren't broken. Menopause is not a disease. You are going through a life cycle natural transition, and it is going to be hard. It is going to come with different challenges that you've never experienced before, but we don't need to make it something that it isn't. It is not the bad guy. We don't have to be scared of it. We don't have to be fearful of it. What we need to do is support our bodies through this transition. Okay. And a lot of times, most women are entering menopause completely compromised. And I talked about this a little bit above, where it's like we are entering this phase already in a shit spot. Okay. Whether that's metabolically, hormonally, physically, mentally, emotionally, you name it. Decades upon decades, under eating, overtraining, chronic dieting, binge restrict cycles, no sleep, and high stress. And now we're going through a big change. And that's going to feel fucking hard, right? So if you have spent the last 20 to 30 years eating adequately, strength training, prioritizing your protein, menopause is still going to come with some challenges. It's not like it's not going to have its fucking problems and symptoms and side effects, but it also is going to still feel like, okay, but I can manage this. I can actually do this still, because your body is going to be strong going into it. Okay. And like I said, I started at 32. And if you're in your mid 40s, 50s, or 60s and you're listening to this thing, oh shit, like it's not too late. We are behind the ball. If you didn't start when you were 25, you're behind the ball. Sometimes I feel like if we don't start when we're 15, we're behind the ball, because we just got the raw shit end of the stick. It's just it is just how it is. I was talking about this with somebody else in the gym that I'm in-person training out of. It's like, nobody taught me even like pre-pregnancy. Like I can't imagine how much better my pregnancies would have been if I would have known so much more about my body and how it worked and the importance of training and eating well and all. I mean, I knew to eat well. I know how to be healthy, but like, all these other like hard, big details that I didn't know anything about. And it's like, man, it's like, I didn't realize this until, Blake was, 3 or 4 years old is when I started this process for myself. Well after I was pregnant, right? And, I kind of felt like, oh, I'm kind of behind. And the guy that's at the gym that he works with a lot of women, he was like, you're not behind. You're just, you're just starting now. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's better to start now than to start never. It's better to start, tomorrow, right? They always say the next best day besides today is tomorrow, right? Like, get to it. Like, let's do it right now. So if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I've already done all this shit. I've already done all this damage. Is it too late for me? No, it's not too late. You can still train, still build muscle, still eat well, still prioritize your protein. You can still get good sleep. You can still manage your stress, and you can still support your body. It might take a little longer. It might be a little bit harder, but it is not too late. And it's most important that if you are not doing these things, you need to start with one of these things. Start with one of them. Okay. 1. So if you are like, oh my God, this is me, and you're tired of being sold this bullshit lie of like, all these supplements are going to fix them, I can lessen your supplement payment by probably significant amount. And you can join the Diet Dropout Club membership for $37. Okay. We are not here to demonize your hormones. We're not going to sell you a magic solution when you come in, right? We are going to help you build foundations that actually support your body going through the transition. Strength training, food, protein, sleep, stress management, all the things, all the basics, right? And you're going to make it through your first whole time of without blowing everything, because we're going to do our Move in a March challenge, which is moving our body. It doesn't mean that you got to go, blow 3 hours at the gym every day. That's not what we're doing. Okay. But we're going to have a week where we're not going to blame menopause for the decisions and the things that we're doing to our bodies. We're going to support our bodies and be able to move forward. That's what we're doing. Part of this club is going to be, it's going to incorporate perimenopause and menopause. Why? Because I literally have women in in my coaching space and in my coaching world that are going through it. In fact, this last weekend, literally we were talking about it, about our cycle, about, the ovulation piece. Oh, I think I skipped a period this week. I have women in there who are, 30, just had their fourth baby, and 62 to 72 and completely through menopause and all in between. Okay. So this is where we are. This is the link is in the show notes to get into the Diet Dropout Club membership. It is a membership. It is a monthly $37 membership, and you can cancel anytime you want. However, we are not going to cancel because we are going to stick through something that actually is meaningful and beneficial to our bodies and supporting through this very hard transition that we are going through. Okay. This is a little bit longer of an episode than I thought it was going to be, but here we are. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. I will catch you guys on the next episode. If you have questions about the Diet Dropout Club membership, all you got to do is hit me up on any of my, what are those called? Socials, or drop me a message in here. Have a great day, guys, ladies. Let's be some diet dropouts.